Hello everyone, this is part 2 of a video of foreign coins that I picked up from my favorite local coin store, and we're going to jump right into this. This is part 2, and I'll link to part 1 here in case you haven't watched that one. We're going to start with a rarity, and that is a commemorative coin that was made by Ireland. So for 2000, for the new millennium, this is the design they made of their £1, or they call it the Punt, that they used for 1 year. And it even has a security reading on the side of that coin. You flip it over, and it's got the standard harp design that you see on all Irish coins. This one is KM31 and has a book value of $2. Next up is a coin that is not new to my collection, but this one is almost certainly an upgrade to what I have in my collection already. This is the way the Canadian 5-cent coin looked before they put the beaver on it. This one dates back to 1928, has the two maple leaves down below, and we flip it over, and we've got this nice picture of design of George V on it. So this one is, I guess that's going to be in very fine condition. My price guide says at very fine, this is $1.75, and it goes up quite a bit from there if you're going to grade that at extra fine. So this is a neat pickup for a quarter. And if I didn't say it already on this video, every coin that we're looking at today is going to be something that I got out of a 25-cent bin. And with the other 20 or so that we've already looked at, I paid a total of $10 to get over 50 coins out of this. This uncirculated coin is another one that's going to be an upgrade in my collection, a 10 rupiah from Indonesia from 1974. Flip it over, and I believe that side is up. Here's a coin that I feel like I was able to find quite easily when I started to collect, but it's been a struggle to find these over the last few years. Obviously, this is from Belgium, and it has both names on it, Belgique. Flip it over. This is a wartime currency, a 2 franc coin from 1944. What makes this particular coin noteworthy is this was a steel coin that was made using the leftover planchets when America was making the steel penny or the steel cent. They took all of their unused planchets and sent them to be minted for these 2 franc coins in Belgium. And just for the history of that, that gives it a little bit of extra collectability for American collectors and has a catalog value of $1.50. Here we have an Arabic coin. This is going to be from Pakistan, a scalloped aluminum design from 1975. Flip it over. This one is a 2 paisa coin from Pakistan and has a, this is going to be catalog value or number KM34. We had one €1 coin in our last video. We've got another one here. And this is one of the more interesting, in my opinion, one of the more interesting of all of the circulating €1 coins where they keep the same design every year, because this one has Mozart on it. This is going to be the design from Austria. Now, another way that I can tell that my local coin shop has good coins in their bin is this is the chunkiest silver coin that I've picked up in a 25-cent bin in a while. This 1933 5 escudo coin from Portugal, in just a silver melt value, is worth $3 here. And this is about the size of a United States quarter, but it's not as much silver as the U.S. quarter. It's 65%. This is still going to be KM 581. And since I had this coin, this is just going to go in my trading silver stack. I haven't seen one of these in forever, and I found 2 of them and picked them both up. This is the tourism coinage from Cuba. Now, they have a separate currency that they call the peso convertible series that they have made since about 94 or so. that are a lot easier to find than these. This one was made, both of these coins are the 1989 version of this, but at the time they were called the INTUR, INTUR coins, because that's the Institute National of Tourism coins. And so they make a currency that the locals use and then a currency that the tourists use. And so if you had visited Cuba in the late 80s, you would have probably picked up one of these, and they are pretty difficult to pick up and to find these days. Unfortunately, the one on the right has a couple of spots on it. These have a book value of about $1.50 each. There are also some variations of that one. I should have mentioned this when I still had them on the screen. The KM number is 412.3A, and the biggest variation is the size of the number 5. The one I was holding was the small 5. I actually picked up the big 5 in another purchase that I made recently. You'll see that in an upcoming video. I like the, I would call this an Art Deco look that I've seen in U.S. architecture, is something that I can see on this coin from Poland. This one is from 1923. Flip this one over, and this is half a zloty, or I guess they're going to call it a 50 groszy. And this one is KM13, has a book value in this condition of $1.50. This coin is new to my collection. The condition of it, as far as fine, very fine, or whatnot, is in pretty decent shape. However, it's got some kind of goo on it, and it's corroded, which means it's just a placeholder. I don't know how to value things like this all this much, but it is new to my collection. It's 1943. It's going to be a 6p from British West Africa. Flip it over. This side looks even worse. We've got something just gross that's kind of stuck onto the crown of George VI here. But yeah, you certainly don't find coins from British West Africa all that often. This one's going to be KM22. Here is a coin from Bolivia when their currency was the Bolivianos. La Unión es la Fuerza, 1991. There are a couple of subtle versions of this coin. I think this one was only made in 91. So it has a KM number of 206.1. But this side has the design that we see on a lot of Bolivian coins. In part 1 of this video, we had a coin made out of tin. This coin is made out of iron. And so this is a World War I era coin from Norway from 1919. The 1 ore. And because they changed the metal, it has a KM number of 367A. Sadly, this coin is very corroded, especially when you turn it over and you see the monogram of the 7 on this side. And there's not a lot here that you can read around that one, but it's a coin that I didn't have. These are particularly tough to find, I believe. These iron coins from World War I days. Here's a British 50p coin. There was a time that I would pick these up every time I'd see a British 50p in a 25-cent bin, since it was worth 50 cents. I don't really do that as much anymore. However, this was their 50p coin tends to be a commemorative coin often, and this might be one of the first ones that they ever did. In 1973, this one is a little bit of foreshadowing. This is, of course, you see a lot of hands holding other hands, because this symbolizes the formation of whatever was the precursor to the European Union at the time. So it's got a design of, hey, we can all work together and lend a hand to each other and help each other out. And well, we can see how that went in the future for the British. But this is, there's not a particular premium for this coin. But yeah, it's the 50p coin from 1973. And that last one had a catalog number of KM 918. Next up is, I didn't know if I'd had this coin or not. As it turns out, I did. When I hold it, it has a lot more luster than when I look at it, where I can see all the little scratches on it. But this is from 2016 with the last portrait of Queen Elizabeth, and at the same time, this goes to where all of their coins went together to make almost like they made a puzzle, as you put them all together, and it makes the crest of Great Britain on this 20 pence coin. Another coin from British West Africa, still corroded, but a lot better shape than the last one. And this one had twice the purchasing power of the one from back then. So we still have George VI. Flip this one over, and this is a 1 shilling coin. So this had twice the value of a 6-pence. And so we've got some kind of palm tree that we see on the back of this coin from 1940. Again, it's a country that you just don't see all that often. And this one has a catalog number of KM23. Many coins from India that would feature or celebrate a local hero we wouldn't know, but I would think most Americans are going to be familiar with Gandhi. So this one honors Mahatma Gandhi, who it says died in 1948. This coin was made at the centennial of his birth in 1969. That date isn't on here anywhere, but had to look that up in the catalog. There are some higher denomination versions of coins featuring him that year, where they made 2 different versions of the coin, one in English and one in their native language. This next coin is probably going to be the most valuable coin that we see in this video. I was surprised to find it. I already had this coin, but this one is going to be an upgrade. And it is from the, it says Republic of France at the top, but at the bottom it says the Guadeloupe dependencies. So I was not familiar with Guadeloupe when I got my first coin of this, and I haven't looked into it since, but that is a couple of islands in the Caribbean that do belong to France. And so here you go, a very rare coin. Flip it over, and this one is 50 centimes from 1903. And I don't know France or what that says across the bottom, but so here's the thing. The catalog value of this coin in fine condition is $25. If you want to call this very fine, and I might call this side very fine. The other side might be more of a fine condition, but kind of hard to see. The natives who lived there were called the Arawaks, and I think that's how you pronounce it. And so this represents an Arawak individual. And so a book value of $45 if this was very fine. For the purposes, I'm going to add up the value of all the coins that we've seen in these videos and at the end, and I actually put down $7 for this one because I didn't want it to just really throw off the total of value of everything that we're going to look at. So, yeah, you just don't see coins from Guadeloupe very often. And they stopped making their own coins probably around the 20s, and they just started circulating other French coins and stopped making coin specific for Guadeloupe. For my next silver coin, this is the third one that will appear in this video that I picked up out of the 25-cent bin. Again, I just picked this one up because of the silver content. I figured it was worth more than 25 cents. As it turns out, I didn't have this one. It is from New Zealand. This 3-pence coin from 1946. This is when they were 50% silver, and so being such a small coin, the actual silver content is 0.0226. And so silver value about 40 to 45 cents. But hey, it's a new coin to my collection, so I'm not going to just dump this one in my silver stack. For the next coin that's going to be an upgrade in my collection is this almost uncirculated coin of Uruguay, showing off a horse from 1981. Going to be 10 centésimos, KM66. For our next euro coin, we have our the one from Spain, and I believe this is King Carlos. On this coin from 2002, it has the Madrid mint mark on it, which has the M with the crown on top of it. So it is a different portrait. Of course, he's older than the coins from the 80s and the 90s, but it does have a different portrait than some of the older coins. And also the lower value coins did not feature the king, just the 1 and the 2 euros. Next coin, I knew I had this one, but it's a country that you just don't see very often. I've heard it pronounced Eritrea or Eritrea. And this coin was not made in 1991, but that was the year that it became its own country again. So all of the circulating coins from that country will have this design on one side. Flip it over. They have a different animal on each one. And for the state of Eritrea, 1997 is when this one was made. I guess that one is a leopard for that African country. KM44 is the catalog number. The Bailiwick of Jersey is another place that you don't find coins from there very often. But if you do, this is, so I picked it up just because you don't find it very often. This is probably the most common coin that you'll find from Jersey. It's the 1 new penny. And this one's dated 1980. Same shape and size as the coin that circulated in Britain. And it does have different wording on it, though, on this side. This one is KM30. Coin with this design is going to be from Sri Lanka. This is a 1-year coin from 1996 because this is the only year they made this coin out of steel. Maybe, I think before that it was nickel for a few years. This is the 25 cents coin. See if I can zoom in on that. It's got lots of different languages. Thankfully, it also has English on it where it says 25 cents. This one's going to be KM141A, and the A is because this one's made of steel. This is going to be the last euro coin that we see in the video. I wasn't sure if I had the 50 euro cent coin from Vienna or not. Well, I should say Austria, but this shows a building from Vienna in 2009. Most of the coins you find from Lithuania were minted in 1991, but the ones I see most often are the low value coins like 1, 2, 5, 10 or so, which are made out of aluminum. So when you get to the 20, they were started to be made out of brass or copper. Not quite sure. I guess it's copper. But this one's going to be the 20 centu from Lithuania. 1991 KM 89. And the reason it's not 4 is because Lithuania made their own coins before they were part of the Soviet Union. Next coin from the government of Pakistan, and there is probably some thing through history that I need to research about this coin to see why it was called the government of Pakistan at the time, but it's one of their lowest value coins. It's the 1 pice from 1952. In this condition, it's worth $1.50, and it is KM1, so it's the first ever coin from Pakistan. Wasn't sure if I had this coin from Brazil or not. It turns out I did, but this is from a time in Brazil where they changed their currency every couple of years. But this is about one of the last ones before they were finally able to stabilize it some. This one's from 1990, made of a time where a lot of their coins were stainless steel. It is going to be the 10 Cruzeros. And KM 619. Several coins from around the start of the Millennium celebrated in India the national integration. I don't know enough about India to know what that means, but there have been several different coins from, I think, the 50 paisa and the 1, and in this case the 2, which all featured that design on them. Here is a Canadian $2 coin, and this may be the first year that they used the $2 coin. We've got bimetallic, and of course the queen on this side. Flip it over, we've got the polar bear, and this one was made in 1996, and this is a coin that I actually picked up in Canada. The only time I've ever been out of the country was in 1996, and I picked up one of these. This was even before I was a coin collector, but it's one of the things that perhaps got me interested in getting into it, perhaps. I thought this was an interesting design back at the time. If the $1 coin is called the loonie, then this one was often called by the locals as the toonie. But this is another of those coins that I pick it up because I paid 25 cents and it's worth almost $2 in trade value. I saw this coin and I thought, boy, is that in horrible shape, but I bet it's made out of silver. At the time, I had no idea where this was from. Flip it over. There's nothing you can recognize on this side. And after I got home and started looking at it, I realized, oh yeah, this was the monarch of Britain before Queen Victoria. I do have a couple of other coins of George the Third. I believe that's who this is. And you can see enough of it to see the word Britannia on here on the right side of the hole. But you can't really see any features of the king here except for the ear. Somehow is that's not just a little chunk that was like a nick to the coin, but that was actually part of the design of the coin. I think it's funny how that one detail survived everything else that went through here. This has no numismatic value over the silver melt value, other than I didn't have this coin, and it's going to be at least a temporary filler in my collection. This is a 6p. It's sterling silver like all the British coins of the time. Silver value, if it didn't have a chunk of hole in it, would have been 0.0841. So just in foreign exchange value, I'm going to call that $1.60 if silver. So for that reason, it's worth paying a quarter for it, even if I just put this in my junk scrap bin. But for now, it's actually going to appear in my collection. I'm trying to put together a set of the New York City subway tokens, and I'm one closer to completing the set. The only one I'm missing now looks a lot like this, except the Y is actually punched out on this coin. So small N, large Y, and a small C. It says good for one fare. Flip it over, and it says the New York City Transit Authority. Now, these, as you can expect, New York City, this is one of the most common tokens you'll ever find in the world. However, I was talking to a token dealer about half a year ago, and I asked him if he had one of these, and he said, even though they're very common, they're also one of the most highly sought after. I mean, if you think about it, are you more likely to pick up the bus token from Schenectady, or would you rather have a New York City subway token, which everyone has heard of, and so everyone wants these New York City subway tokens? So the book value says a quarter. I don't know how true that's going to be. Every time I find a China cash coin, one of the coins that has just all these random characters on it, I've gotten pretty good at looking up where they're from. However, it usually takes me about 20 minutes or so to go through the catalog and hunt it down. And I think I need to make a video exactly how I do that. It doesn't help that they're almost always very well worn, and a lot of the key details here are not always easy to see, especially this character on the bottom. But one of the determining factors of this specific coin was this character at the top didn't have didn't make a full rectangle. It was open. This is called the open head bow of this coin. Bow is the name of the character that shows up right there. And so it takes a while to go through the book and find out what these are, but I did the research on it. This coin is going to have a Hartil catalog number of 22.462. It is from the Qing Dynasty. It is going to be Emperor Zong. The open character that I pointed out a moment ago means it was minted in the south of China. And the year of this was 1816 to 1820. One more that we're going to look at, another one cash coin, even though this one is smaller and more well worn, so even tougher to figure out what the symbols were saying on this one. This one took me a while to figure out also. Had a thicker rim to it, so all the characters on here got squished, but this China one has a catalog value of 22.223. The 22 means it's part of the Qing Qing dynasty, where almost all these coins you're going to find are from the Qing dynasty, unless you just happen to find something really old. This one is Emperor Gaozong, was minted in the East, and has a date of 1782 to 95 on that one. This is going to be the last coin in this video. I found this 5 lepta, and I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be a Greek coin, and I don't particularly recognize it. Flip this one over, and I see more Greek letters, and so I open up my catalog and realize that my catalog starts in 1901 and it doesn't have this, so I pull out my 1800s catalog, which goes back to ends at the year 1900, and I go to Greece, and I don't find this coin either. And I wonder what's going on. Why is it that I have a Greek coin that's not in my catalog? And then after a while, I realized this coin's not from Greece because it doesn't say the Hellenic Republic or anything like that on it. This is a lot more obscure than that. So what other places in the world might use Greek? Well, Cyprus did a little bit, Macedonia did a little bit, but for a period of about 20 or 30 years, the island of Crete was tried to be an autonomous country. It didn't last very long. Eventually, they went back to become part of the Greeks again, but they only minted coins in the year 1900. This is KM 4.1 on their 5 lepta coin. And I'm going to call this coin very fine, and it has a book value of $10 at that, just because, again, Crete is a coin that you just don't see very often. So I've got my notes on the side here. I thought this was a very successful trip to my favorite coin shop in Nashville, and if he has new coins in his 25-cent bin, oftentimes they're winners, usually better than anything that I'll find at a coin show, so I'm always happy to go there. I do always like to add up the book value of all the coins that I pick up, and a lot of these coins were so difficult to figure out a price for them. Anything that was silver, and there were 4 silver coins across these 2 videos, and I'm not including the $54 set of the Cayman Islands that appeared in video 1. So we're not including that, but just the things that were in the 25-cent bin, which I picked up $13 of coins. He called it about 10 to 12, not sure exactly how much, but if it was a silver coin, I put down the melt value when I was adding them up. If it's a high dollar exchange value coin, like something from Britain, a euro, Canada, some of those Switzerland coins from any of those, I actually just rounded to the nearest exchange value. So if it was the Canada $2 coin, I wrote down $2 as the value. But most everything else, I wrote down the book value. The coin from Guadeloupe that I saw earlier, I wrote down $7 for that. And the coin from Crete we just looked at, I just said $10, but I wrote down $5 as if it was just in fine condition. And all in all these coins add up to $63 in book value. And so I think that is quite a winning combination here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like looking at these world foreign coins just like I do. And I have a lot more videos, some of which I've already recorded and not released yet, but they're always going to appear in my foreign coin showcase playlist that I'm going to link here at the end. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.